Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Avini Vibes. I just want to say thank you for being here. We're grateful and we're respectful of your time. I want to thank Gary and Carol for jumping in last week. I had the just blessed opportunity to go on a trip, but I'll share a little bit about that in a moment. But today's Thursday, March 26, 2026. I'm your host, Christine Rolando, with Carol Witt, right up there, always helping out. And Carol, just couldn't do this without you. Appreciate it so much. I want to acknowledge our guest. I want to say that if you're here tonight, you've been introduced and you're well liked, well loved, because this is a special place for special people. We come here to learn from each other. We come here to share the most incredible technologies. This company is filled with amazing leadership, and it's really, truly changing people's lives. We're not a supplemental company. We basically take out the bad and we make room for the good. And that's important, very, very important. Hey, we make no medical claims. We don't diagnose. We don't treat. And again, we're here to listen, learn, and share. So if you have a testimony at the end or something you'd like to share, if you don't mind, just raise your hand, use your little taskbar at the bottom, and we'll try to get to you. If we don't get to you, of course, we'll try to address that basically next week, or you can always put it in the chat. We've asked you all to mute just for purposes of quality of sound because we do record this. And I just want to say, I just went on a little trip and it was pretty cool because that's the beauty of this business. I had an opportunity to, believe it or not, go to LaGuardia the day after that awful crash. But, you can do this business from anywhere. I had a chance to go out to Santa Fe, New Mexico and see my daughter and be in the barn with Superman, that's her horse, and just cool stuff. And that is the beauty of it because every place you go, there's people everywhere that need this. I actually met a man walking down the street in Santa Fe. I was taking a picture of these beautiful, beautiful flowers. And he told me he moved out of California because the pesticides were so bad. And I was like, oh, by the way. So, you can't say to me there's people that don't listen because they're just everywhere. That is the beauty of this business. Tonight's guest is somebody very special, and we're going to do something a little bit different. We are going to show you two short videos tonight. You may have seen them, but every time you watch Rick Deitch or a biochemist, you will learn something. Even if have seen this video 5, 10 times, 20 times, you will, I promise. You're going to hear it again, and it'll just reinforce or resonate with you. Tonight's guest is all the way from New Jersey, Nicole Reyna. Nicole has been a family nurse practitioner and a health advocate for over 30 years. Like I said, she resides in New Jersey with her husband, Drew, 4 children. Some of them are off to college. 5 or 6, maybe 7 dogs, and lots of cats. 3 cats, I think, 3 cats. She has a beautiful home, and I love and know her well and appreciate her being here. She's very passionate about helping others. And Nicole's going to share a little bit about her journey, why she left the traditional medical field, and why she does what she does. So, Nicole, come on down and please share a little bit about your story. And then you just tell us when you'd like us to show that. We'll start with that cell defender video of Rick, okay? So, welcome.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. I love to share information about especially these technologies because and I say this all the time, in the 30 years that I've been in healthcare, I have never seen as many technologies. Even just one of their technologies would be like number one. So once you start to see all the line go down, you're like, wow, you guys have very powerful stuff. Um, I have been in healthcare, kind of all aspects. I was working in the ER for many years, in ICU. I transitioned kind of out to like an urgent care, and then COVID happened. Um, we had a lot of issues with the hospital system coming in and buying us, and I just found that most of the time some of these things could have been prevented and people wouldn't be as sick if we could have just prevented it instead of treated it. So that was one of my things going through before I was a nurse practitioner, very frustrated, in ICU, like, why wouldn't you use IV vitamin C? Oh, we don't do that. Or why wouldn't you? Oh, we don't do that. It's very, this is the protocol, this is what we do. And if you deviate from it, you are either in trouble by some of the medical boards or some of the other, peers even. So I ended up starting my own practice. This way I can help people and really just work with them for what's best for them. I don't have to answer to anyone. I don't have to answer the insurance companies. A lot of what care is done today is dictated really by what the insurance will pay for, or even medications. I mean, I've had people that had been on a medication for years, and the insurance company will come in and say, nope, you're not on it anymore because you didn't try X, Y, and Z. So, in that respect, I am very excited about this because, like I said, all these products can help someone, can help everyone. And for us to be able to educate everybody and get out there, we are in the top, this one of the top businesses in the country with healthcare and wellness and all that. But we are on the preventative side instead of waiting till somebody's sick. And yeah, what else? Lots of toxins that we'll be able to take out. Well, why don't we listen to the video and then we can go back in and talk a couple more things about what he says.
Okay, thank you. Carol, you ready for Cell
Yeah.
Defender? Please.
Hold on 1 second. Tell me when you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Gotta make sure we can hear it.
Hi, I'm Rick Deitch, the Chief Scientific Officer of Avini Health.
You turn the volume up?
About Cell
Yeah.
Defender. See, first of all, you have to understand that all of us are toxic. We live in a toxic world. There's heavy metals, volatile organic compounds in the air we breathe, the food we eat, the water we drink. And all of us have mechanisms in our body to excrete those toxins. The problem is, our exposure is much higher than our ability to excrete. And so toxins build up in our bodies over time. And the body tries to protect us by hiding those toxins in metabolically inert or inactive tissue, mostly fat and bone. Over time, that toxic level gets higher and higher and higher, and it impedes health. It impedes our ability to heal. And so you need to do something to avoid toxic exposure, to mitigate the risk of toxic exposure, and to actively detoxify. And there's lots of different modalities for detoxification, but most of them equate to really just going to the bathroom. They're laxatives and diuretics that, as long as you're getting stuff out of your body, we call that detox. But that's not really detoxification. The best thing we've ever found, really, in the last century for detoxification is using natural zeolites. So what is a zeolite? A zeolite is a natural compound that's formed in volcanic eruptions. When a volcano erupts, the lava and the ash goes into salt water and it forms these crystal cage-like structures. So zeolites have a cage-like structure and a negative charge, making one of the few negatively charged minerals found in nature. Because of the cage-like structure and negative charge, zeolites can draw to themselves, trap within themselves, a variety of different positively charged compounds. Now, different zeolites do different things. We use a zeolite called clinoptilolite. Clinoptilolite has been used for over 800 years in traditional medicine for improving general health. And the cool thing about clinoptilolite is because of its structure and its pore sizes, it loves small, highly charged metals, and it doesn't like bigger metals with a lower charge. It just so happens that all the stuff in nature that's bad for us is small and highly charged. That's mercury, lead, cadmium, arsenic, tin, bismuth, aluminum, antimony. And all the stuff that's good for us is bigger with a lower charge: magnesium, calcium, phosphorus, sodium, potassium. So the zeolite loves the bad stuff and doesn't like the good stuff. So when you ingest it, it sucks up all the bad stuff and goes out of your body. I realized if we were going to really use this for human detoxification, we had to do something about it. We had to fix the natural zeolite. So really created by nature and perfected by science. The two things we needed to do was make it smaller and clean it out, because zeolite in the mine site, when they mine it, are huge particles, anywhere from 5 microns to 200 microns, like a rough granular sand. You ingest that, it's not getting into the bloodstream, it's just staying in the digestive tract. So every other zeolite product out there doesn't really know how to properly standardize, micronize the zeolite. And so you have all sorts of ranges of product size. So we, through many years of research, have come up with a micronization process. We get a standard particle size of less than 1 micron. Anything smaller than 2 microns can be absorbed. Less than 1 micron, you know it's being absorbed. And the smallest particles are even smaller than 500 nanometers, half a micron. So that means when you ingest this product, it gets absorbed from the digestive tract into the bloodstream and goes all over the body, where it can remove toxins and heavy metals. The second thing is, zeolites in nature are dirty. When you get the zeolite from the mine site, it's full of toxins, heavy metals, volatile organic compounds. And that's because zeolites are nature's filter. When you have a zeolite mine site and water flows over it and air blows through it, it's sucking those things out from the environment. We measure the toxins that come off it through our activation process, and some of them we couldn't identify. So we sent it out to a third-party lab, and it came back as diesel fuel exhaust. Just think about that. That means the actual mining equipment that's mining the zeolite is creating toxins the zeolite is pulling in. And so if you have a company that's selling a zeolite product that is not doing our activation process, you're ingesting that. You're ingesting that diesel fuel exhaust along with the other toxins that are naturally in the zeolite. So we have an activation process that's labor intensive, that drives off the heavy metals, drives off the volatile organic compounds to clean out the zeolite to make it the most active. So when you ingest it, it's got tons of space to pull in toxins from the body. The example I use there is the sponge in your kitchen sink. If the sponge is all dirty, you can't clean your counters with it, you can't clean your plates with it, but if you clean out that sponge and squeeze it out, now it can suck up all sorts of toxins, all sorts of things, and clean up your kitchen. And there's a lot of knockoff products out there, but nobody understands the technology. Nobody has made a product that even comes close to Avini Cell Defender. So what does it do? It takes out compounds, takes out toxins and volatile organic compounds from the body to make a cleaner, healthier body. In so doing, it improves the immune system. So it stabilizes immune system health. And lastly, it actually stabilizes pH. It raises our pH to alkaline levels, so we're in a healthier state. You're gonna hear tons of testimonials about how this has changed people's lives. And time again, people tell me how this works and how it made them heal this or improve that. I'm telling you, it really only does one thing. It takes things out of the body that don't belong, and a cleaner, healthier body fixes itself. Everybody needs this product. When they hear about it, everybody wants this product, and this is the only place to get it. Avini Health and Avini Cell Defender.
Thank you, Rick. Wow. Amazing, right? One of the things that I love what he said is like we're taking out the bad, right? Making room for the good. Nicole, he also mentioned about created by nature, perfected by science. I know even before I shared zeolites with you, you already knew about zeolites in your practice. But what did you find that about our zeolite, about Avini zeolite, made a difference?
Really the delivery mechanism, the dropper, the amount that people had to take. There was one of the other products, there was a huge amount that you had to take. And with ours, how they micronized it, it can pick up so many small things, even going through the blood. And typically in the past, if you wanted to try to get heavy metals out, you would have to go to something called chelation therapy, where you sit on an IV and they pull all your blood out and they pull off the heavy metals, and then they replace your blood with, after it's cleaned, but that can be very draining on the body. People have to sit there for a while and it takes a lot out of them. So this process, the fact that there's a cage that the other part of it is the cage-like structure holds it. So as it's going through your body, it picks the stuff up, it goes into your bladder and you pee it out. If you were doing any other detoxification process, most of the time what happens is you have to take a lot of fiber, you have to take a lot of all these other things, but you still have to put it through your liver. Your liver has something called a first pass, which is when you take a medication or eat food, it passes through your liver the first time, it goes in through your body uses it, and then it has to go through your liver a second time. So this process, this zeolite is working to help all over your body and help to get rid of, like he said, any of the violet organic compounds. It's getting rid of the heavy metals. And when you look into the research, there's something like 70,000 chemicals in the whole US that are known to be bad. And what happens is over time, you're building up the heavy metals, your cells can't function, and your body can only maintain what we call homeostasis for a certain amount of time. And then after that, you start having some of the disease processes. And a lot of the diseases are kind of, in modern medicine, kind of segmented out. Like you have a brain disease, you go to a brain doctor. You have a heart disease, you go to a heart doctor. Whereas the whole premise of functional medicine is that your whole body is all together, and all this works together to make you healthier.
All things work together for good if it's
Yeah.
clean, right?
If it's
Yeah,
clean, it has to be clean.
yeah.
Otherwise, like we said, the metals will actually replace some of the things in your body. So your body can't do those basic cellular functions that they should be doing.
Stabilizing pH to an alkaline state. Why is that important?
That is really important because if you look at any of the cancer researches and any of the processes, what they're saying is your body has like a regular pH acid base balance. And when you start to get sick, either any type of problems, your acid balance base will get off. This will have you will end up having a low pH balance, and it's better for your body. It's better for the environment. It helps you to get rid of toxins.
I have on my refrigerator a list of alkaline foods, and fortunately, I like most of them, but my husband and my son don't like the taste of all of them. But we try to eat, that diet, but it's not all about diet, is it? It's all about environment and the impact. One of the people I met on the trip says, "Oh, I'm not toxic. I do blah, 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 and I do this and I do that." And I was like, "Oh, well, I think we all are overly exposed. So that's why isn't that right? We have to continue to use the cell defender drop so we can continue to clean the body."
Yeah, because it's in everything, the air you breathe. I mean, even they just had a study that it's in baby food, lead. The lead, I think even our town, they just did a water study. They found lead in the like lead in the water. When you see all that and you realize what lead does, it just really emphasizes how important this is to everyone.
Absolutely. I visited with someone today. Gary, I don't know if you met him. He came as a visitor for the grand opening, but he shared with me something today. I don't know. I don't want to disclose his illness, but what he did say that his doctor, he goes to a urologist, and he says his doctor, Nicole, he said all men will suffer from this high PSA levels in their life. Now, maybe they're not high to the effect of being a disease, but it's very, very important to watch those PSA levels. And I know my own dad struggled and suffered with that, where I had to take him, this is 25 years ago, I had to take him every day down to Hackensack Hospital for what he had to be exposed to. And at his age, he couldn't go through the whole series of treatment. I only wish I had our Zeolite back then for my dad. But can we talk about that a minute? I love the process. I was sharing with this fellow about our plus balance. And then a lady right behind him came in and started sharing with me about she was having her face was turning red in the middle of the night and she was sweating. So I said, "Oh, you should come on the show and listen tonight because I'd like to address that." Should we watch the video first, Nicole?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
All right, Carol, why don't we watch that plus motion?
Here we go.
Not plus motion, I'm sorry, plus balance.
Yeah.
Plus
Here we go.
motion is my favorite. So that's why it was a slip of the tongue.
Okay, tell me when you can see my screen.
We can see it.
All right, let me turn up the volume just a bit. Okay, here we go.
So I'd like to talk about Avini's Plus Balance. We all know the liver is really, really important. It's the gatekeeper to the body. Everything we eat, everything we drink goes to the liver first. So we know the liver's job is detoxification, but the liver has a lot of other functions. It makes and stores energy in the form of glucagon. It makes and stores vitamins, but it also detoxifies the body through something called transformation. Those transformation pathways are what takes all sorts of different toxins and excess hormones from the body and makes them water soluble so you can excrete them. So the Plus Balance helps balance those functions and has huge downstream implications. For example, one of the components is Celluthrive, which is a calcium deglucarate that lets the liver better balance hormones in the body. Not just hormones, but hormone mimetics, things like xenoestrogens from plastic. It'll remove those from the body, and it's clinically proven to reduce risk of certain cancers, hormone-sensitive cancers like prostate and testicular cancer in men, cervical, uterine, breast, and ovarian cancer in women. We said if it's improving those functions and balancing those hormones, it's also going to be able to do things like improve the function of hair, skin, and nails. So we put a
very bioavailable form of biotin in it from Cispenia. And we put a form of collagen in here, basically type 1, type 3 collagen, that's going to be able to improve the function and structure of your hair, skin, and nails. So balances hormones, actually helps improve liver function, transformation, detoxification function, but it also is going to wind up with healthier hair, skin, and nails.
Nicole, can you speak to maybe about those hot flashes that this gal was sharing with me today? If you think that this might help, plus balance.
Sure. So Plus Balance has obviously things to balance your hormones. What people don't really realize is that your hormones through your body go through kind of a hormone cascade. So these hormones convert to different things, such as like testosterone can convert to estrogen. And you would think, oh, why do men have estrogen? So this product particularly helps with regulating the different estrogen and the different estrogen detoxification pathways. So a lot of times people are having hot flashes because of lack or overproduction of hormone. And definitely during the premenopausal and menopausal phase, up until maybe even 4 or 5 years ago, I think I even went last year. I went to the doctor and said, I'm having this, I'm having a hot flash, I'm having this. And they were like, you're too young for that. I'm like, I am. I think the first time I approached it, I was 40 and they were like, you're too young for this. I'm now 47. The only thing that they can offer is let's test your hormones. But when they test the hormones, they're testing it just from a lab, which is like, that moment in time. So with this product, what it's doing is it's helping to balance the hormones. So, I mean, even like with the collagen in it, they were saying that the collagen, one study was showing that the nasolabial folds and here and then the crow's feet were decreased by 70 to 80%. So even looking at that perspective, I mean, this is like people are going for Botox just to decrease these things, and something like this, we can solve that need. Back to the prostate. So, like you said, your dad with the prostate cancer, what they're saying is usually like the standard of care is around 40 years of age, people start getting the PSA test. And what it is, it's a prostate specific antigen. What they're saying is it starts to slowly rise if the prostate gets bigger and then there's cancer in that area. So if you think of what is a prostate is really a gland, and the urethra goes through the gland. So when men start to age over the course of time with hormones and whatnot, the prostate will slowly age. When it gets to certain numbers, they can, they'll kind of go back and forth. And if they see the prostate is enlarging, then they'll usually start to say, let's get some other treatment. But this product is helping balance the hormones and balance testosterone, which is one of the hormones that can lead to prostate issues with older men. So I have seen people that have taken this and their PSA, we can't say went down, but their PSA went down and they are having no more nighttime frequency, no more urge. And the thing that you even have to think about that is if they're holding onto their urine, then they're at risk for like a urinary tract infection. So now you're even going down the process into, this could turn into urinary tract infection turns to sepsis like that. So the prostate, obviously, like you said, sometimes it's not an issue. Sometimes they have to go into like cancer treatments because of it. So this is helpful in preventing some of those problems.
Yeah, alone today, I heard of two particular situations, both, one in his early 70s and one in approaching 80, healthy though, and like you said, the frequency was the issue that started him to start to question what was going on in his body. And then as you look into it, you have to really, I shared this with him today. I said, you sell Defender and look at, come tonight and hear about it, because you just hear about it every day from more and more people on these particular issues. I wanted to ask Tony Marie why she pointed at Chip's face when we said that. Tony, unmute. What was that about? I love it.
It was actually about the collagen rebuild on the the nasal labial folds and just the thickening. I don't know if anybody has noticed, well, notice how, ta-da, he looks
Ta-da.
great. And I've noticed it myself. I've noticed the arm skin thickening and just not so crepey. In fact, not crepey at all. So I am a huge Balance fan, but I just had to point out, I think, I don't know, I'm a little partial. I think his dermis is thickening.
I think we have Chip on two screens, so this is interesting. We have him twice. So no, I agree. The skin, right? It's largest organ. It's on our bodies, on the outer side of our bodies, and it's such an important thing as we age. I remember the first day I looked in the mirror, I forget what age it was, but I said, "Oh my God, what is this?" You know, as we age. But I was sharing about Aviniites on the call. I said, I don't know about what I see is everybody here is getting younger. So it's kind of like the ageless group, which I love, and all different ages here, which is so beautiful. Look at Priscilla. You can see her. She's getting younger by the moment. And speaking about younger and age, today is Eddie Kowalski's birthday. Happy birthday, Eddie Kowalski. Look at him. Happy birthday, brother. He's getting younger too.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'd say the 60 is the new 40, right? That's what they say. So I turned 60 today, and Roxy was like, "Hey, we need to do something for your birthday." And when the Peruvians throw a birthday party, man, they fly in from Peru for a birthday party. It's like, I said, no, 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 no. I said, I just grew up very like small little things and whatever. So we had brunch today, and I told her, and I was able, I had a couple of hernia surgeries that limited me from getting back in the gym. And I told her, I said, when they're done, I said, I'm going to get back in the gym. I'm not going to be looking like I don't know what a 60-year-old looks like. So every time I wake up in the morning at 5:30, she's like, what are you doing? I'm going to the gym. And I've been like crazy dedicated to that. And, you know, and like you said, everybody in Avini that I see, it's just like Carol and all the people on the screen. It's like you see these beautiful complexions, and I take the Plus Balance too, and it's like, and I see a difference. And I had a mullet. I had to get a haircut the other day. I was like, oh my God, you know, I look like Billy Ray Cyrus. So it's like, you know, my hair is growing down beyond my neckline. So thank you. I appreciate it. It's cool, and I'm just so happy for the crowd and the family that we have. It's such a blessing. And I had to hop on late because my wife's sister, her little girl, her name is Serena. She had to have me on FaceTime to tell me about and thank me for all the things I've done, but she wanted to wish me happy birthday. So I stayed on FaceTime with her, and then I hopped on here. So I'm so grateful for everybody here, and you guys are the best, and I'm so proud to be part of this team. So thanks for the birthday wishes.
Well, you enjoy your birthday, and you don't look 60.
I
I was going to
Well,
guess 40 at least.
yeah, well, I'll send you the check. Okay, thank you.
All right. All right. Back to Nicole. Nicole, let's talk just a moment. I think they talked about xenoestrogens. That word comes up a lot. Can you talk a little bit about that? Why?
Yeah, those are kind of almost like fake estrogens that you consume, and it acts like estrogens in your body. So when you have, so estrogens, when there's a test that's called a Dutch test, it's relative, I don't want to say it's new, but it's relatively new in people knowing about it. And it's a dried urine test. And what it does is it tests all the precursors, all the aftercursors, and it starts with the hormones, and you can follow it through the body where it's going. So, for instance, for estrogen, there's different pathways, and they say that the hormone positive cancers, what happens is, like the estrogen positive cancers, people are not able to get the estrogen out of their body. So it's just building up, and it's also going down one of the wrong pathways. So it's causing extra dysfunction in your body. So the other thing that I was going to say about the DIM, which was, there's a lot of things in the balance in it of itself. The biotin, which is another one of the reasons why people are having really great results with the hair growth, the skin, and then also what a lot of people don't realize is the B7, all the Bs actually are really cofactors, and they are used in your whole body metabolism. So if you kind of go back to like the folic acid cycle, basic biology, you'll see that all the B vitamins are needed in your processes and to be able to even metabolize. Like your liver needs B7 and B6 to detoxify. So the fact that this product has that in it. The other thing that it has in it, which a lot of people, the research with vitamin D, I think you saw that vitamin D was in this. There's a lot of research now that what they're saying is vitamin D turns on and off like epigenetics, almost 200 of your genes. So when they say it's vitamin D, oh, wow, big deal. But no, it's actually a stress hormone. And what they found during COVID is the people that were hospitalized had very low vitamin D levels. So like the normal range for vitamin D would be, say, at a lab 30 to 100. Well, guess what? If you're at 30, you're at the bare minimum. And when you were at a level of 50, those patients they found through COVID were ended up hospitalized because it creates immune system dysfunction. Your body can't regulate, your body can't process, your body can't even make hormones without the vitamin D. So that's very important why that's in this. And then the DIM actually is it is the compound that you get from when you eat broccoli and coniferous vegetables. So like Brussels sprouts, all that kind of stuff. That particular compound is, so it's called an aromatase inhibitor. So when you have people on even testosterone replacement therapy, a lot of times the testosterone is going to build up too much and converts to estrogen. And that's why people on testosterone therapy have problems. Men sometimes have too high testosterone that it converts to estrogen and then they have problems. This particular, the DIM in this supplement helps to put it down the correct pathways so that you're processing your testosterone out, you're processing the estrogen out, and people are therefore healthier. So like I had a patient that you could see the pathways that the estrogen was going. It was showing like estrogen and it can go down the 2-OH, the 4-OH, or the 16-OH pathways. They're just different pathways of the estrogen, but each pathway the body favors a certain way, and when it goes to the 4 pathway, it's more toxic to your body and it presents more problems. So this DIM actually helps to shuffle it to go down the right pathway. So it's increasing your overall health because if you have, all these issues, you're having some inflammation, you're having, all those type of issues, and you can't make your hormones. So like even a thyroid hormone, you don't realize how much goes into making your thyroid hormone. You need a ton of B vitamins. And the other thing with thyroid issues a lot of people have is either high or low thyroid, so hypothyroidism. And maybe you guys have heard of like Graves' disease or Hashimoto's thyroidosis. So those all have to do with the thyroid being too low or too high. And what people don't realize is if the toxins are building up, then they are taking the place of some of the enzymes and stuff that you need to produce these thyroid hormones. Um, so in turn, you're not able to produce your thyroid hormone, or your thyroid's going to end up enlarging because it's filled with heavy metals. So when you think about that and autoimmune diseases, it also helps with that because it decreases the inflammation. And the other thing is it's helping balancing people's blood sugar. I have people that I had on metformin, which is a medication to decrease their blood sugar before they sometimes become diabetic, and this has helped them to regulate their blood sugar, and it's starting to trend down. So I think even that benefit is huge.
Yeah, that is huge. I feel like we have to continue to educate, but also young girls today are struggling earlier and earlier and earlier with their levels, and they're going through puberty earlier and all. I mean, I've seen it myself with I worked with a large group of teenagers and I, in the conversation, this is like through 4-H actually. And it was like so many conversations I would talk to the moms about at such younger and younger ages. So we have to get to a younger population, to our children, our grandchildren, and start to help them deal with all these issues. I know my own daughter, first thing when she struggled, they said, okay, you're going on a synthetic prescription. And she said, no, I don't want to go that way. I want to find something that I can help start to heal my body naturally, which she did. She's polycystic, and now actually no, nothing synthetic, and the body, clean body, can fix itself, and that's always a theme of this. But we don't always start with the perfect canvas. We start with a canvas that are smeared or has a lot of issues on it, and so we have to start cleaning that canvas as well, and these products certainly can do it. I'd like to see if anyone has a question for Nicole in light of time. We have a few more minutes. Does anybody want to raise a hand? Eddie?
Yeah. Hey, Nicole. Hey. So my mom
Happy
was
birthday.
Oh, thank you. My mom was big into Dr. Robert Young out of California. I don't know if you know who he is, but yeah, she was big into the pH thing, the pH miracle, and all that, right? You know that,
Mhm.
okay? So I guess what is the right number for water 7.4?
So the body is 7.35 to 7.45. So I believe 7.0 is kind of like neutral for water. So have you seen all the alkaline water that they're starting to put out, and that?
They're doing alkaline water that's 8.8, 9.2 in like Sprouts. I mean, and that's too much, right?
Yeah, because it's going into your stomach, and from what I have read and studied, it's not really that helpful because it's not doing it. It's going in and going right back out, whereas our products are going in, circulating, and then going out. So it's keeping your pH at a certain level instead of up, down, up, down, up, down. And I think his name was Otto Wartburg, he did it was back in the 1950s, that said an acidic environment is not good, and that's one of the reasons that cancer generates. So if you that and then the other thing with the acid base balance is people like on kidney dialysis, they have issues with acid base balance. Your breathing accommodates acid base balance. Basically, that's what it's called. So like if somebody was to come into the ER and they were having issues with bleeding, we would do like an arterial blood gas that would tell us what your blood pH was, and then based on that you can tell like what's going on. Is it more of a respiratory issue? Is it more of a metabolic issue? But that is, in and of itself, your body will try to maintain that homeostasis and stay in that level for an amount of time. But as the toxins build up, so is the acid, because there's no way for it to get out, if that makes sense.
It does. So 7.3, 7.4 with our hydration is perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I see a comment. Water dilutes the hydrochloric acid in the stomach, and that's needed for the proteins. So you need those strong acids in your stomach.
And believe it or not, people that have low acid sometimes end up with H. pylori.
Oh,
If
gosh.
anybody's heard of that,
I have like 4 people right now with that, and that's the issue, the testing that's being done. Well, you know that case, and it's the H. pylori they're dealing with.
And they're treating it by lowering people's acid. But when you read the whole philosophy of it, that doesn't make sense, because you need the stomach acid to get rid of the bacteria, to digest your foods, to absorb the protein. So a lot of kind of what modern medicine does is a little backwards sometimes, if that makes sense. And I can say that because I've been in it for a long time.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? You want to raise your hand and we can get Joe? Go ahead. You have a comment?
Just a question. When you do a urinalysis, it comes out and gives you your pH.
It
Is
usually
this,
sorry.
I'm just asking, is that an indicator? Because
It's usually just when you do the urinalysis, it's usually just your urine pH.
Not
So
your blood.
not your blood or like the rest of your body.
Gotcha. So if your urine pH is more alkaline, like 7.7, 7.8, is that positive?
7, that would mean it was more alkaline, correct? I
Yes.
always get
Mhm.
confused with that scale. You know, they showed you
If
that
it's
scale and
higher,
it
it's
had,
alkaline. If it's higher, it's alkaline. If it's lower, it's
thank you.
acidic.
Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah.
I used to sit there in the ICU and be like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, and then once when people start having issues with alkaline and hormones, then one of the big things that I have seen is the urinary tract infections that basically they have overgrowth of bacteria and end up toxic just from something that as simple as like if somebody was on this, it would be alkalining their urine, it would be taking those toxins out. They wouldn't be building up, the hormones wouldn't be, because even they're now saying like women over the age of 40 have a chance of higher UTIs because of the way that the body microbiome has developed over time and the loss of the estrogen. So it changes the environment. So even something as little as off hormones, UTI, and people are hospitalized for like that for it. Actually, one of the girls that I work with, she was like, I went to the doctor. I didn't really feel good. They didn't know what was wrong. They put me on steroids. I was like, well, did they check your kidneys or anything? She's like, oh, maybe I should have had them run a urine. I'm like, yeah, you probably should have. I'm not giving you medical advice, but you probably should have. The next day she calls me from the hospital with sepsis. I'm like, just like that, within 12 hours, she was in the hospital and she's stayed in the hospital for several days. So, little things like that end up being big things.
Absolutely. Kathy Hurlin, you have a question. You want to unmute? Go ahead, Kathy. You can unmute and ask Nicole a question or comment.
Yeah.
Thank
So I had a question. If somebody's been on all the Avini products and their blood work has been fine, but then just gets another blood work like 2 months after a real clean one, and their creatinine is like 1.13 and their EGFR is like 54. And now
Okay.
like the health practitioners are concerned. Is there anything from taking the Avini products or
No,
the
I would
weight
think that
loss?
I would say that the Avini products helped because what happens is the creatinine clearance basically is a measure of how well your body is, how well your kidneys are filtering out the toxins. So, they set certain limits and what it should be, but as it decreases, people have increased toxins, if that makes sense, because if you're not able to get rid of all the toxins, then they're going to build up. So people with like end stage renal disease that end up having to be on dialysis to get rid of the toxins because their body is not processing it out at all, if that makes sense.
So that makes sense. Yeah, this is my blood work, and I've been on the Avini products since 2023, and I did the Clean Start 90. I've still been on it since it started. So I was super shocked by this result last week. So I didn't understand like why I've
You,
never had that reading ever. Now I
I
have.
was going to say you could be dehydrated too. Sometimes even being dehydrated will send your creatinine off,
And
which
if you're,
then
oh, that may be because if you're taking, I'm still doing like those 10 drops 10 times a day, and I work in a hospital. So if I haven't been able to get enough
water.
water,
Ah,
Yeah, so it could be, honestly, it could just be something like that. So I would say keep taking the products, and then I would say in like another month, maybe do another blood test if you could, just to see if it's moving in the right direction.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I would think it could have been that you were dehydrated that day when you took it, and that would affect it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you,
You're
Kathy.
welcome.
Chip, you have a hand
And you
up.
can take that balance two twice a day, or is that only two once a day?
I believe the package says 2 once a day. I
Okay.
think that's the package directions.
Correct.
Okay.
Chip. Thank you, Kathy. Chip Littlejohn, hand is raised. I was going to go to you and have you close us out anyway, so it's good timing.
Well, I was hoping that I'd have a chance to say something. Listening to Nicole is really neat. She says things a little bit differently. She's kind of on the biochem chart that's on the back wall over there, and taking us through some of the pathways and some of the cascades and thinking logically. And I thought the interaction between her and Kathy Hurlin was interesting a moment ago. Kathy takes care of 40 premature babies every day, and she's one of the main people in the world probably in that type of care. But she has some concerns of her own, and if you're in a job where you can't get to the water, you can't get to the bathroom, it's going to show up in kidney function because you won't let it run. But the biggest thing I wanted to say was listening to Nicole. Think about what she's done as far as the venue she's working in. I'm sure having her be your nurse, if you in the ICU, let's say she's taking care of 4, 5, 6, 8 people that night. I mean, that would be a ton in the ICU. Maybe
I was going to say, not in the ER though. I've had 8 with them stacked along the walls.
so that would be a 12-hour run, maybe something like that. And she got him through that 12 hours and then went home exhausted, then came back and hit it again. And she's gradually eaten herself alive to do it. Thank God she realized, and the frustration was, oh, we don't do that. The desperate care doesn't include the smart care sometimes. So here she comes on a gathering here, and she's able to make a presentation that probably influences people who are influencing people. And in an hour, she changed the health of probably thousands, maybe tens of thousands of people just by sharing her knowledge and her perception and her posture, her stature coming from the healthcare world in that way. So that's really the power of Avini, to instead of taking a shift, you take a philosophy and you run with it. And that's what I thought.
Yeah, there was so much moral injury while we were working as nurses. You want to do the best for the patient, and then you get to the point where you can't make that much of a difference, and it's just very frustrating. So,
oh my gosh,
I'm happy
did
to
you
be
hear
on
that term? Moral injury.
Yeah, that's people.
Say that again. Say something about that. Anybody ever heard that term before? Is that great languaging? Moral injury. I was doing things I knew I shouldn't do in ways I shouldn't be doing them, taking care of people in ways that could have been better.
And at that point, you're kind of like, well, this is the best care that I can give them. And this is like better than 90% of the care that they're going to get. But still, that's not good enough for me. I say that I practice towards my level, and then I go above and beyond because, those are just in a box. I like to think outside the box. And that's why I ended up going further to get my NP and my nurse practitioner, because now in many states, I don't have to have a collaborating physician. So it's kind of like, thank you for your help. And thank you for me not having to pay you $1,000 a month to sign a couple charts. So really, this really blew a lot of things out of the water to be able to do
this. I wanted to offer a word to Nicole that she can probably get a lot of use out of. She spoke about the old-fashioned way of moving all these poisons, which was chelation, CHELATION, and the problems with it. Avini is a gigantic breakthrough. She also described that there's a word that goes with it, and the new breakthrough that replaces the old chelation, which is now antiquified. It's too dangerous, takes too many trips, too expensive, takes a practitioner, takes out the good stuff and the bad stuff both at the same time, has been replaced. And the new term is clathration, CLATHRATION. And that means that the toxins get safely encased within a crystal and then escorted to the exit. So it attracts, traps, transports, and facilitates safe, easy excretion, easier for the kidneys, not more difficult. So I thought you might enjoy. She's got a magnum vocabulary you heard tonight. I thought she might enjoy having clathration added to her.
I do. I like that.
I figured you would.
Thank you. I'm like, that's my new word of the day.
Atta girl. There we go. I'm done.
All right. Listen, Chip, Tony, thank you, Nicole, Carol, everyone for being here this evening. We come, we learn, we listen, and we grow every time we join together. Guys, remember there's an 11 o'clock call daily also to continue your education. There's so much available around Avini. that we can just be self-absorbed in it to keep learning, learning, learning. But it's very important that I want you to all to go out. Let's find those who are praying for us and asking for healing and asking for the things that we have. So let's go share the word. Let's go share the messages with them. And I just love each and every one of you. Nicole, thank you for being here. We'll look forward to seeing you all next week. And don't forget to register the events coming up May 15th and 16th in Boca. So please get registered for that. And we'll see you all on Avini Vibes next Thursday night. God bless you. Thank you.
Good
Thanks
night,
for having
everyone.
me.
Good night. Thank you, Nicole. Good night.